Oh, hi everyone. My name is Melisa Laelan. I am the CEO for the Arkansas Coalition of Marshallese. It's a nonprofit organization, 501c3, that's operating out of Springdale, Arkansas. If you don't know the background of Springdale, Arkansas, it has the largest Marshallese population in the United States. So we do a lot of work around Pacific Islander needs. So it's been really about 2 years now that we been dealing with COVID, right? So I have three beautiful ladies here with us tonight, two CHWs and one nurse. These three champs, I call them champions. They've been really at the forefront pillars of all the work that's related to COVID, vaccine, treatment, and everything else that you can name. So we're very, very blessed to have them with us today. All three of them are from Arkansas, so we have a really great show today. We're really excited to learn what's been happening in Arkansas and what kind of work that are happening in that community. So I'm going to start with an introduction, and I'll just really just give it to them, each one of them, so they can give us an intro and bio of who they are. We'll start with Stephanie.
Thank you, Melissa. My name is Stephanie Takamaru. I was born and raised in the Marshall Islands. Moved to the States when I was 11 years old, so I'm now in my mid-30s. I was away from the Marshalls community for over 15 years. In my early adult years, I found myself traveling across the U.S., so I am now back in Northwest Arkansas. I moved here back in 2018, and my goal was to always get back and integrate with our people. And now that I'm older and I have children, it's so important that I'm trying to hold on to our tradition and our heritage. And so I want to hold on to that so I can pass it down to our children. Of course, with the COVID pandemic, once it started, I found myself at the front line of the COVID pandemic as a essential worker. And I am very privileged to work with a good team of staff that actually will take the COVID vaccine out to the community. I want to recognize Ms. Winnie and Ms. Amy Ricklin. They've all been there side by side with our partnerships with the different organizations to help take the COVID vaccine to our community and to put an end to this pandemic. Thank you.
Winnie?
Hi everyone, my name is Winnie Milne. I was born in Namo and raised in Eby, Marshall Islands. I came to the United States back in 2002 and went to Arizona. Moved here to Arkansas 2010 and started loving it. So yeah, I've been working with a lot of Marshallese people. Just started working with UMS, and of course I work with the hospitals as a medical assistant and also a tech. And seeing the pandemic coming up towards, what year was that? 2018 or 19? I started working as a frontliner with UMS. I quit the ER job because it was just stressful to where I couldn't handle it anymore. But I stepped out to help with UMS, doing COVID swabs and all that. And I'm a nursing student, hoping to graduate next August 2003. And a single mom of four. And yeah, nice to meet you all.
We love powerful women, especially the ones that are like doing great things for themselves, right? Winnie, I think there's a lot of young ladies that are looking up to you. And lastly, we want to hear from our very own nurse, Amy.
Yahweh Olive. Hello to everyone. My name is Amy Ricklin, and I am just like the other two ladies, or all three of them. I was born in the Marshall Islands, as well as I moved to the States, lived most of my life in California, and wanted to make a change in my family's life. So we moved to Arkansas. And there was a point in my life where I needed to do something where I felt I needed to provide for my community and my society. So I went into nursing school and just graduated maybe 2019 and fell in love with Northwest Arkansas and working with the community. And I thank you for this opportunity for us to share our stories.
Yeah, great to have you three beautiful ladies with us today. I always love when there is a power of sisterhood, right? So I think like tonight is a perfect example of showing, how PIs do things. I think as PIs, we tend to do things stronger and better when we do things as a group. So welcome to the show, ladies. Koviki Talk has been around for a couple of years. I remember Carl and Neki and myself and other folks were trying to put it together, but it's been going strong for a few years now. So yeah, it's been, just seeing all three of you here and thinking back. I think the first thing that I can remember is like how horrific COVID-19 was to our community, right? And it was just so full of twists and turns, and we just didn't know. It was like, for me and my family, we were so afraid. We had no idea what to expect. We were so scared of everything. And then there was the height of the pandemic where the Marshallese community was accounted for over almost 50% of the death cases. You all remember that. Really freaked all of us out and just put us in a different stage level of alertness. To me, it was important for me to stay alert and see what's out there, right? Arkansas, in fact, was one of the hot spots. In fact, if I recall it correctly, it was really the hot spot. And so a lot of other folks from other states that had Pacific Islanders were really looking at us and, seeing all the things that we were going through. So it seems like we saw the COVID, and then we went to the vaccination mode where all of us really worked really hard to get people vaccinated. But now there is treatment. I mean, can you believe it? It's great. 2 years later, now we're talking about treatment. So I just want to know, and if you guys can share with the audience, where are we at this point, considering the fact that Arkansas was a hotspot at the height of the pandemic? Where is the community at this point? Are people still gathering and things like that? We'll start with Winnie.
Yes, I would say yes, because of course I go to church and I attend church, and we've been gathering since, after everything went down and everybody's feeling better. Um, uh, yeah, I would say we all gathered together. I see a lot of group gathering, especially the churches and all the other groups. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just in our culture, in our nature to really attend these big events. And I know Amy, as a nurse, I know that you're um, one of the big champs in the community of where you ensure that people are vaccinated and things like that. Do is in your, what do you think the community is at this point?
And well, as you mentioned, it definitely was really hard in the beginning. It really put a big pressure on us, as with our culture. It's so hard. We're very people oriented community, and it's hard for us to. It was hard in the beginning for us to stop all the gatherings and the church activities and congregation. But I think at this point, even within the last year, numbers have gone down. I mean, COVID is still around, but I'd say it's not as bad as it was in the beginning, of course, but we're still doing our family functions, family festivities, church congregation, but with some precautions. I know there are still members and still people in the community that are making sure that they stay safe, and that's within using their masks. We see a lot more hand sanitizers in the churches, which I'm really proud. But yeah, we've been taking some steps to becoming a little bit more safer.
Stephanie?
Yeah, I'm going to piggyback off what these ladies have mentioned. For myself, with how I just moved here to Arkansas, and about 6 months later, the pandemic hit, and I just had a little baby at that time, and seeing the death rates amongst the marshals, I know we were the highest rate of deaths here in the Northwest Arkansas. I saw a passion grew in me to help our community, especially the Marshallese people. You have the language barrier, you have the cultural difference. So Melissa brought me onto ACOM, and we were able to hire two Marshallese nurses. Miss Amy, Nurse Amy is one of our nurses, with Miss Ruby as well. But with our work, we were able to take the COVID vaccines out to our community and to the local community and say, hey, we have these mothers. And if you know our culture, actually, we are a matriarchal society. So the message behind our COVID was always to mention, okay, since we're a matriarchal society, we should trust these mothers that are nurses. And, I would see big, tough guys coming to talk to Nurse Amy many times, and they sit there, I don't believe in the vaccine. And the next thing you know, they're lifting their shirts up and they're like, their sleeves up, and they're like, vaccine me, Nurse Amy. So, yeah, it was very important for us to continue that work, and we're still continuing it today.
Yeah. I remember specifically, Stephanie, when there was a movie night, we had few pregnant ladies that wouldn't otherwise come to a clinic, but because they saw Dr. Rickland there and Nurse Ruby there, two of whom speak Marshallese, a lot of people felt comfortable with that. A lot of people felt like, especially those mothers, right? Pregnant women, they felt like they had these two medical experts that they could go to and ask questions. So it does, who is out there, how you're delivering the work, delivering the message is always important. I think, the important thing is when you have COVID, when you're experiencing COVID symptoms, there are help, right? There are help. And I know, Amy, I'm not sure if how involved are you with treatments or anything like that. If you are, I know these are long process that people undertake. Remember when the first, I think it's called monoclonal. At that time, it was a study, and we did it with Arkansas Department of Health. So are you in any way involved in those kind of treatment, and what are your recommendations as a nurse? Like, when is the right time for people to actually go through these treatments?
Thank you. So when I picked up a contract with Arkansas Health Department, I did not do any patient care in terms of giving treatments, but I did help navigate patients in our community to appropriate clinics and providers to give them the treatment for them. But I want to add that I do dialysis sometimes at the hospital, acute dialysis, and I've worked in the ICU as a dialysis nurse and in a COVID unit. But personally, I don't give the treatment for COVID. But I did work with the patients, and these are cases that are needing oxygen, needing to be hospitalized. But as far as mild to moderate symptoms that community members experience, that was more of on a case management level where we connect them to resources, connect them to the hospitals to get the help that they need and provide them the education that they need. And just knowing what steps to take was part of my role, most of my role in helping with the community.
Weenie, anything to add? But what, as someone who is out in the community, what would you tell other folks who are, maybe have less confidence level in the vaccine or even the treatment? I think it's a blessing to have the treatment. 2 years later, we have all these treatments, that different level of treatment that are available now.
So when it all started, we didn't really have treatments, and we saw a lot of people coming in with positive cases, but we didn't really have treatments. And I don't really know about the new treatment nowadays because I don't really work at the clinics anymore, the hospitals. So I don't think I can answer this question since I don't know anything about the treatment yet.
Uh, Stephanie, what about you as a CHW who is you do have a close relationship with especially ACOM's vaccine and COVID program. And it doesn't necessarily have to be the treatment, but what is the vibe out there now about vaccine? And that's the point. Like a lot of people don't know that there are treatment out there, but there are treatment that are active and people can get help. But with your from your own point of view, Stephanie, what is the vibe that is out there about COVID vaccine and also, I know maybe less of treatment that people are aware of, but what is it out there? I mean, what's the vibe?
Yeah, so I spoke with Miss Pansy. She is the supervisor nurse here at the Arkansas Department of Health, and she said the monoclonal treatment is still available. We can always send referrals out. She's got the connections to that, and I have the list here. But I feel like people are more open with and trusting the vaccine intake versus when the pandemic first happened. And I can say the numbers are going up with our vaccine intakes. I mean, just having our successful off-site COVID outreaches have been a hit amongst our community. And so I feel like our people are more trusting now versus when when the pandemic first happened, misinformation was spread left and right. But so far I have not had anybody ask for the monoclonal treatments yet. But as far as I know, the treatments are still available and can be referred out to get the treatment if they really do need it.
And I think it's just so important for for folks like ourselves who are very passionate about the community, right? Have the love for the people to relay the message out there that there are always going to be help out there. There are treatment out there, there are vaccine out there that you can actually take to lessen the severeness level of COVID. I think I read it somewhere where it says there's something about the risk of COVID itself is more harmful than the risk or the side effect of the vaccines. And I think oftentimes, especially right now, ladies, right? Do you all think like, people are so comfortable with, especially with when the state kind of lifted up the mask mandate, and do y'all think there is that level of comfortness in people that they don't feel like they have to take the booster or they have to get vaccinated? I see that a lot, even with the work that we do. Steph, I'm gonna give it to you because I feel like you have a really good knowledge on what's the vibe out there with the boosters and vaccine.
I feel like our people are getting vaccinated. The intakes are definitely going up, and people are having better attitude towards the COVID. And right now, with our community trusting the COVID, I feel like they're now just, hey, we're going to have this big baby's 1-year birthday, coming up, and we're inviting the whole entire, you'll have about 2,000 people maybe show up to this little baby's birthday. But the confidence is back, and I feel like it's as a society that thrives on gatherings, because we are a society that just thrives with being around our elders, our families, distant relatives. I feel like our people are more open and they're not as quarantined like they were before. And of course, that's because they're getting vaccinated. But that's what I've been seeing with the line of work, especially with the clients that I've worked with. They're very comfortable. They'll call me and say, hey, Steph, when's your next vaccine event? And they'll be, well, hold on, because we might have another one coming up in the next month. So we'll keep you posted. But I feel like our people are more open and not as careful as they were before. We were quarantining for months at a time, just because of the trust in the vaccine work that ACOM and our local partners and other health partners have helped push out the COVID vaccines. information.
Yeah, as Amy, as a nurse, I know that it's been talked about a lot, and it's almost like it's no secret. Everyone is aware of the level of boosters that have been given out. It's a lot lower. So what would you recommend to people who are so? I'm actually one of them. I have received my second dose of booster. I'm glad that there's an event tomorrow that I'm going to go to and to receive my booster. But what would you recommend to those people that just have that doubt? Sometimes we see things, misinformation. Yeah.
Yes, thank you. Well, in the beginning, there was a big resistance against the vaccine. It took a lot of work and effort from all the partnerships and all the institutes to come together and push the message to our community. And it took a lot of us to set an example as well to our community. So, I being the other one where I had to be out and show that I did receive my vaccine. I was okay. Everybody else did that needed it. But I think as of now, as far as the boosters, I think the mentality is I'm fully vaccinated, but there's data that shows that within 6 months time period, the efficiency of the vaccine goes down. So it's really recommended after your first series, to get your booster after 2 months. That would be your first booster or your first series. And we recommend to get your second dose after your second booster after your first. And I'm excited because tomorrow I'm getting my second booster as well with you, Melissa.
Well, that's really good to hear. I know that, and Stephanie will also share with us some of the tricks that she does to get people to get vaccinated. So let's hear it from Stephanie. I know, Stephanie, you're the queen woman. You know it all. You know how to get people there.
Hi, everyone again. So one of the tricks that I have, not just me, but the team with ACOM and our nurses and our partners, one of them would be simple ideas like, if you guys know FSM, we have a weird status here in the US. So we physically take our Micronesians to the border in Texas so they can get their I-94. Then we're like, how can we have the uptake in vaccines? We'll have two guys come and say, oh, I haven't been vaccinated. But well, if you want to take this trip, we have 3 grandmas on this trip. Like, I'm not going to risk them getting COVID-19. They are vaccinated, and you two are not vaccinated. Respect your elders. These are your grandmas too, so get vaccinated. Another idea that we came up with was like free movie nights. We would take it to very low-income housings, and Nurse Amy was there for a couple of them as well. But providing free dinner, free popcorn for dinner, free movie, one of the latest movies out there, and have the kids come and have a movie night, enjoy all on us. We'll provide the funness. So while the kids are getting preoccupied, the parents were busy with the nurses asking, questions that are very relevant, especially when the pandemic first hit. Another one that we had was Cookies with Santa. Last year, we partnered with a couple of our organizations here. But I think we vaccinated over 170 people. But just having the kids show up, make cookies for Santa, write a letter to Santa. I saw last year, even this year, they wanted iPads. So they'd sit up with Santa's lap and tell Santa, this is what I want an iPad. But just creative ideas and just trying to push the message that it is safe. You have our nurses here, trust them. We're a matriarchal society. Ask Nurse Amy whatever questions you need because you're pregnant. Tomorrow we are catering to family of 10, and it's a widows and widowers. We're trying to take care of their kids for the holidays. So we have a vaccine tomorrow with them, vaccine events, but we'll be giving out, we get grants where we can get gift cards. So, and everyone knows gas prices is going up, food is going up, rent is going up, my mortgage is going up. So we will have like, hey guys, we got a $50 gift card that's get the COVID. If you need your flu, that's another $25. So I've literally had clients, probably 4 clients call me today and say, hey, I saw your flyer. I was like, yeah. So I know one aunt, she said she's bringing about 8 kids. So I'm like, bring them in. That you don't have to pay for their presents. Then you got the money. So we just try to think outside the box and what's convenient for the families like tomorrow with the Santa, we're going to have a closed off event for the widows and the widowers and their children. But outside of the conference room, Santa's still going to be available so the kids can write letters to him and they can take pictures with him. And of course, our nurses are going to be available to give out the vaccines, both flu and COVID.
And I think that's why Nurse Amy is going to be with us, because she also heard about the gift. So
That's why I'm excited. And I'm too.
it's going to be great to see you there, Nurse. And hopefully you can also help while you're there.
Yeah.
I think Melissa purposely waits until like she said, okay, go for the gift cards, because every time I got my vaccines, I have never received a gift card.
Well, Winnie, is there anything that you want to share with us of like, some of the things that you're, because I know like, we do have a phrase in our language that we use for a woman that is very resourceful. We call it karaiman kun. So, every time you come across something that is seems to a barrier, you always try to fix it yourself, like identifying the best solution to deal with this. So as you, Winnie, has there been like something or anything that you can share with us that you actually use the word karayuman?
Okay, speaking of the vaccines, I'm excited about it because this past weekend, I missed the other one that UMS did with ACOM and MEI. So when I heard tomorrow you guys are hosting one, I'm like, yay, yes. So I haven't gotten my booster, my first and my second. So I'll be there tomorrow. And then my kids, I have a daughter, she hasn't gotten her COVID vaccine. And then all my other children haven't gotten their flu shot. So we'll be there tomorrow and I'm excited. So with the Karemankal, I tried. God is amazing. He's amazing. Whatever comes my way, I'm not gonna like reject it. I have to take, whatever is gonna come through my way. That's how I go through all these stuff. Karemankal is really a good word, I would say, Melissa, and thank you so much for reminding me of that. But I have a lot of helps through all the communities around me, and I'm very thankful. But I'll see you guys tomorrow for the vaccine. I'm excited.
Awesome. Yeah, we don't. My next kind of a highlight to talk about. We don't really talk about it a lot. It's Pacific Islander, especially Marshallese. I remember growing up, and the word mental. The word mental is almost like a derogatory term that people don't use. It did have a negative connotation to it. So I'm just curious about and the fact that, and us as CHWs, right, our workers, a lot of us are dismissive of mental health care. We tend to care for others and forget to take care of ourselves. I'm really curious about how you guys keep the balance, because it seems like we have kids, we have responsibilities, we have husbands, and then we have our jobs that we have to kind of like that balance. I'm really, really excited to share. I can't wait to hear what, especially like Nurse Amy. Amy has, I don't even know how many jobs she has, and she can probably share that with us today. And she also has a lot of kids to take care of. So, Amy, what is your, what's your role, and what do you think? What is keeping a balance mean?
That's a good question. Well, I mean, in the beginning, it was a lot more of I need to give, I need to help, I need to help, I need to put in help, I need to be where help is needed. And really, I neglected my self care, my balance of time, my time with family, and I think after a while you just get burned out and you have to kind of evaluate like where are you really and how much time are you giving somewhere else. So you got to remember to take care of yourself first before you can take care of others. So I had to figure out where I was in this place. So I turned down a lot of jobs, assignments. I kind of went in a manner where I needed to do that and just kind of focused on me a little bit more. And I think traveling for me is one of the best things to do. So visiting family members from other states, it's a lot. It's a lot of pressure off of you, off of family, off of work, and just enjoying your extended family from other states. But for me, that is definitely what has been keeping me kind of sane, and just realizing I need to reduce my hours at work. So pick up here and there, and then try to take care of myself and my family.
Yeah, and I think like, getting more of your loved one to receive their vaccine is it's a contributor to that less stressful life, right? Because you know that they're protected and you don't have to worry about them. It feels good to, I always tell my kids, I have a lot going on. Mom already has a lot going on, so I need you to do your part. So I think getting your family member to receive their vaccine is so important. And remember, the sooner you receive your vaccine, the better you are and the more healthier you will get. And that's a bigger chance of you staying healthy, and less if you were to have COVID, you will have less severe symptoms. So what about you, Winnie? I mean, I'm really excited to be here with you on the show, and I know this is our first interaction at this level. So I'm curious about what do you think of that? What's the balance? What is being a working mom and
Wow, it's been hard, very, very hard. Raising four kids, being a single mom, going to school. I used to work maybe four jobs, but when I started nursing school, I cut down to become a part-time employee at UMS and full-time student, taking care of the kids. And yeah, I don't know what to do. But then, of course, I have families and friends that I can always reach out to talk to them, or just to go visit and hang out with them. And especially with my kids, we can always hang out together. Just for me to take care of myself. It's just to where I was just so worn out. I couldn't keep all my jobs, and I couldn't just take care of myself. And I found a way to do is just
I think Winnie froze up on us. Oh, she's back again. Well, can you hear us still?
Did you guys hear me or what?
I think the connection just got bad a little bit.
It was, yeah,
Oh,
just little bits and yeah.
I guess I was just talking to myself.
No, we heard all of it. Single mom, going to school full time, working full time, and taking care of four kids ain't easy, especially when you have teenagers. We need much respect to you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it just kind of bring back memories. Yeah. What about you, Stephanie? I know that you and your office is next door from me, but there's always that. I always worry about people that works, especially in the office. I was worried about their mental health stage and making sure that they're cared for. In fact, at one point we actually had self-care days, which we're trying to reinstate that back. But Stephanie, what's keeping you in balance? I guess.
I always say if you work for ACOM, I mean, I'm one that just have no boundaries. And now that I feel like the pandemic has slowed down, I'm starting to put boundaries with especially my clients, because most of those people are up at 12, 1, 3 in the morning. I'll get a call at 3 in the morning from my clients. And my clients are amazing. But Melissa did put out mandatory self-care days twice a month for a few months before we put a stop to it, just because of our load of work came heavy again. But very appreciative, because during that time, I mean, I would take my toddler to daycare, come back home and take a 3-hour nap, or go see my doctor for my annual if I need to. So it was really nice having that, but I'm very appreciative of her because she knows the line of work that and the heavy work that ACOM does. So she has she's going to be giving us this week and the following week additional going into New Year's the 4th of January. So she's very understanding. So she's giving us that whole entire time to just relax and, just take time for our family, especially during the holidays. It can be hard. So I can say I have not taken vacation in a year. I don't think Melissa has taken a vacation in over 2 years. So get ready. I might be requesting for a spring getaway to a cabin somewhere in the mountains, Melissa. But Melissa's very good because she really does take care of me as a mother to a toddler. If he's sick, she's allowed to come sit down in my office if I have to, so I'm not getting the other kids sick at daycare. So it's helpful when you have a manager that's very understanding as a working mom, and so very thankful for that. But every now and then, on my days off, if I do request a day off for an appointment or whatnot, I will sit there and try to watch my favorite shows and just try to take time for myself. And now the pandemic has slowed down a lot. I'm starting to embrace this calmness. So hopefully that's the last of the crazy of this pandemic.
Well, Steph, I might be right behind you. We might be on the same flight going on vacation. But I do really, on a serious note, with, taking care of yourself. It's so important. I think a lot of us workers, we sometimes we forget about ourselves. But then, you think back, if I don't get healthy, the community is not going to be healthy. So I think for everyone, it is the best for yourself and the community to stay healthy. One last question, and this is probably going to go to Nurse Nurse Amy. What do you recommend, especially for people who have underlying illnesses or people who are at risk? And these are 50 years and over. What would you recommend to them if they're experiencing symptoms?
So we all know the high risk are those that have chronic illnesses and are an increased age, even pregnant ladies. And so it is recommended that, when they do start experiencing any symptoms related to COVID, it's best to get tested right away. And if it's positive, please call your provider or your doctor and get some recommendations from your doctor. They do have, they say, antiviral therapeutic options. There's different options out there for treatment, and there's a lot of factors that go into it, but it's important that they talk to their doctor as far as what their options are in that. But if they do experience any symptoms that are moderate, or if they have a hard time breathing, having any chest pain or anything that might need to be evaluated, it is recommended that they go to the local hospitals and get some help so that they can get the appropriate treatment. But for most, it's really important to call the doctor right away once you start experiencing any symptoms.
Yeah, and this goes to any of you. Where would you recommend people to go? I know there are a lot of places to go to, but from your experience working as workers, community health workers, what would you recommend people that they go? And I think another thing is important, right? Language access. Wherever you go, you need to feel very, very comfortable going into these clinics. So was wondering if Winnie or Stephanie want to take that and then see if they can maybe make a few recommendations for all of us, especially if you're in Arkansas.
Yeah, so we're seeing it on the national level now, the mention of possibly the COVID vaccines being charged, and your insurance will have to cover it. If you don't have coverage, then that would be an out-of-pocket spending. And so it's really important that I'm telling, especially our people, since there's a language barrier, that right now is the best time to get the COVID vaccines. It's free. You can get it free from your primary. You can get it free from, I know UMS does their offsite clinic, Arkansas Department of Health with our partnership with ACOM and Department of Health. Come get vaccinated, especially tomorrow with the gift cards that we've had. I have told 4 of our clients that came in today and said, listen, it's free right now, but we don't know when they're going to start charging. It could be the January 1st. They'll start making people pay for their own COVID vaccines. So there's a lot of resources where you can get the COVID vaccine for free right now. I know that the pharmacies are still doing it. I saw Walgreens is still pushing out the free COVID vaccines as well, and Walmart. So the different major pharmacies are still putting it out there as free. So I always tell our people, get the COVID vaccine now before you have to pay for it out of pocket, because they're already talking about it on the national level.
Yeah, particularly around this time, right? It's Christmas. And if you don't know yet, when we celebrate our Christmas, literally it can be days. I remember sitting in church for 3 days just to celebrate Christmas. So these are times, and with the flu, and this is the flu season. So I think it's always important to remind people that, get your vaccine. And if you are COVID positive, there are always treatment out there. You can either call your local physician or your local clinic, or go to CDC's website and get all the information from. Again, is there anything else that you ladies want to add?
I just want to add that I am really grateful for all the community efforts since day one till today, even just bringing in and pushing the message to our community, not just our Marshallese population, but for overall the Pacific Islander populations that are here in Northwest Arkansas. And just embedding a lot of RCHWs in different areas in the healthcare field is really important in the way that we are helping to break a lot of these barriers as mentioned. And I'm so grateful that all of these works and efforts have been put in place to help our people just get better from this.
Ladies, Stephanie and Winnie, I think this is the last round.
Yeah, thank you, Koviki, for giving us a platform to just talk about our line of work and the importance of spreading the message. And I'm very thankful for our partners with our Marshallese nurses. I cannot tell you we need more Marshallese nurses. And Winnie, I'm so excited to see you get your nursing degree so we can partner with you as well. And but it's been such a privilege to work amongst our Marshallese community and local partners, and of course thankful for grants that that enables our work so we can continue to spread the message that COVID is safe, COVID vaccine is safe, and it's better to get the vaccine versus getting admitted into a hospital.
Awesome. And I am going to end it with, together we can do this. Thank you so much, everyone. And I will give the show back to Carl and Naki.
Thank you.
Thank you.